found guilty of trying to assassinate Trump in Florida. This article is by David C. Adams and Patricia Mazzei and read by an automated voice. A man who plotted to kill President Trump last year and staked him out at one of his Florida golf courses with a semi-automatic rifle was found guilty on Tuesday of attempting to assassinate a major presidential candidate, a charge that carries a maximum penalty of life in prison. Ryan W. Routh, 59, an itinerant building contractor from North Carolina, was also found guilty of assaulting a federal officer and several firearm violations. The verdict came after a fast-moving trial in which Mr. Routh chose to defend himself without a lawyer. On September 15, 2024, Mr. Routh pointed his rifle, with its serial number scratched off, at a Secret Service agent who spotted him in the shrubbery at the Trump International Golf Club, West Palm Beach. By the fence, the agent fired at him, and Mr. Routh fled without firing any shots of his own. The police stopped him about 45 minutes later, driving north on Interstate 95. A 12-member jury returned its verdict in the federal courthouse in Fort Pierce, Florida, about 65 miles north of the golf course. It was the second assassination attempt against Mr. Trump last year, when he was running for a new term in office. Opening statements in the trial took place the day after the influential right-wing activist Charlie Kirk was fatally shot, adding to a national surge in political violence. Make no mistake, the defendant was going to kill Donald Trump, Christopher B. Brown, one of the federal prosecutors, said during his closing argument. The defendant was just one bullet away. The rare trial of a would-be presidential assassin was made more unusual because Mr. Routh chose to represent himself without a lawyer. His decision made the trial a lopsided one from the start, when Judge Eileen M. Cannon cut off Mr. Routh's opening statement for lack of relevance. Mr. Routh's brief cross-examinations of prosecution witnesses and the small number of defense witnesses he called made the trial much shorter than expected, lasting just 12 days. Judge Cannon presided in 2023 over a federal prosecution of Mr. Trump involving the mishandling of classified documents, a case she dismissed last summer. After Mr. Routh's arrest last year, public records and interviews with people who knew him suggested that he had become increasingly concerned over the war in Ukraine and saw himself as an influential participant in world events. Earlier this year, he told the judge that he did not trust two court-appointed federal public defenders to represent him. Even so, they were kept on standby during the trial. At one point on Monday, when the judge tried to explain certain rules of evidence, Mr. Routh responded, "I have no clue what that means." He offered little in the way of a defense and did not testify himself. He called 3 witnesses, a firearms expert and 2 character witnesses, all of whom testified on Monday morning after 7 days of prosecution testimony. He told jurors during his closing argument on Tuesday that prosecutors had not proven any intent to kill. The opportunity was there for the defendant to shoot the president, and yet the trigger was never pulled, said Mr. Routh, who wore a dark jacket and red striped tie in court. This human being does not have the capability to harm another human being. Prosecutors presented testimony and evidence from a large number of law enforcement officers and other witnesses. One witness, Special Agent Kimberly McGreevy of the FBI's Miami office, testified for more than 6 hours on Thursday and Friday, twice as long as all 3 of Mr. Routh's witnesses combined. One expert called by the prosecution testified about finding Mr. Routh's fingerprint on the rifle scope. Another spoke about finding 2 bullet-resistant metal plates mounted to the golf course fence. A third said the rifle's safety was in the off position when it was recovered. The Secret Service agent who spotted Mr. Routh hiding in an improvised sniper's nest by the golf course fence described how he saw a rifle muzzle pointing through the foliage and then a pair of eyes only a few feet away from him. Special Agent McGreevy showed jurors how investigators had pieced together Mr. Routh's movements in Palm Beach County using cell phone records, license plate readers, bank statements, retail store receipts, and security videos. According to prosecutors, Mr. Routh lived out of a Nissan SUV for weeks as he cased the golf course, searched online for Mr. Trump's campaign schedule, and watched his private plane at Palm Beach International Airport. Among the evidence the authorities obtained were 6 cell phones, several license plates, and notes about possible escape flights to Mexico and Colombia. Mr. Routh had also left a box at a friend's house in North Carolina months before his arrest. A letter in the box read, "Dear World, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. I failed you." The letter also offered a $150,000 bounty for killing the candidate.